So you have to understand, when they would learn by ear, they were just hearing words and repeating it back, which we do all the time in all the music we listen to, and we mess up all the time. There's so many songs that I thought were completely different until I Googled the words. Like the song Tiny Dancer, I always thought of it as like, hold me closer, Tony Danza, who was like a 1980s sitcom dad. And it's Tiny Dancer. So, you know, it is what it is. You have to really be careful, or you don't know what that person's saying, or you may or may not really totally agree with what they're saying. So now let's move on to learning by rote with your guitar. So this is what they would do. They're all in this 19th century, they're all pioneers or farmers, or they're on their porch, they're in the city. The reason why we have our next characteristic, which is string instruments, is because it was readily available to us in the United States. We can easily make guitars. Back then, people made their own things. Like, people made their chairs and their tables. We didn't have, like, everyone was like a Mr. Schmel. So everyone could just, you know, make stuff. And I'm pretty sure he probably could make a guitar, Mr. Schmel. But nowadays, we go on Amazon and we can buy pretty much anything we want. But the idea is that the strings are made out of pig guts. Gross, right? Intestines. That's what they had lying around the house. That's what it was always made out of since the beginning of time. Now it's made of nylon strings, but back then it was pig guts. Also, the wood was around their house. From different areas in the United States had different type of wood, and they also, throughout the whole world, have different type of string instruments because of the different wood and trees that they have. So this is what they had available to them. Not everyone had an upright piano. Not everyone had access to a saxophone, or, you know, there was no such thing as an electric guitar. So what we have to do is go around our, you know, farm or go around the area and make a guitar. So they did. They did that with string basses. They did that with the fiddle. They did that with the banjo. It's all things around around the town that they could make things out of. So, string instruments are very important to folk music, in Americana music. Now I'm going to teach you how to play 3 chords, starting with the C chord. The first thing you have to do when you look at a guitar is when you hold your guitar, look from the top string going down. So the biggest string is E. And then we have A, and then we have D, G, B, E. Igadov. Makes no sense, right? So I have a saying to remember the strings so you know where to put your fingers. The first one is Eddie, next one is 8, next one is Dynamite, the next one is Good, next one is Bye, Eddie. The little Eddie's after the big Eddie. Big Eddie's before you eat the dynamite. Eddie ate dynamite, good, bye, Eddie. Just the easy way to remember the strings. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to do it. The next idea is, you know the strings now. Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye, Eddie. Now, and that's anywhere. Anywhere is Eddie. I can pluck anywhere. Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye, Eddie. These here are the frets. So when I'm looking at this whole area, this is fret number 1. This is fret number 2, fret number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. So we are only going to be using our first fret, this whole area, 2nd fret, 3rd fret. With me? So now we know our strings. Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye, Eddie. Now I know my frets, fret number 1, fret number 2, fret number 3, but then I have to get to know my left hand, okay? My left hand is finger number 1, finger number 2, finger number 3, and 4. Because so we're only going to use these 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. But when you hold it like this, you're like, I don't know what my fingers are. Well, it's okay. They're still finger 1, 2, 3. Hold it. Wait a second. Finger 1, 2, 3. Now, you just don't do this and think you're a rock star, because you're not. You sound horrible, so don't do that. So what you have to do is find your fingers looking at the chord chart. Find your string by looking at the chord chart. And then find your fret by looking at the chord chart. The common factor is that you have to look at the chord chart. So when we're looking at that chord chart, it's like Battleship, which is a great game. You should go and play. It's fun. You just have to find the right coordinates, or it's like, you know, finding your X and Y axis, whatever. But you're just finding where your fingers go, because every time you put your finger down, it's making a chord. If I'm off by a fret, it's going to sound horrific. And by chance, maybe it might sound okay. Not so much. So I have to be really careful. So we're going to go through, I'm going to go through the C chord. So when I'm looking at my chord chart, which is on the board, I always go with my finger numbers first. And it says my first finger on the bottom of the chord chart, it says finger 1 needs to go on the B string. So how do I find that darn B string? Well, okay. Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye. Bingo, B, goodbye. Now, the next one is my second finger. Now, my second finger, I notice it's on the second fret. My first finger, that was easy. It was on the first fret. Got it, done. Drop it. But I'm not. This isn't a chord. Sounds kind of okay. Because that big, that's not a, that doesn't sound like what I want a real chord to sound like. So, because the idea is I want the chord to sound like this. And that doesn't sound like this. It's close, but not so far. You can hear that. It's a C chord. So, now that I have my first finger on C, the next one, my middle finger, my second finger, it's going to go on the D string. So all I have to do is Eddie ate dynamite. Third finger down, but I also know it's on the second fret. So my first finger is on the first fret, second string, from the top. My middle finger is on the second fret, third string down from the top. Eddie ate dynamite. Now this little finger here, he wants to go on the A string. And the A string, literally, like if I look, it kind of just lies there. If my fingers are here, I mean, maybe it might want to look like it's going to the D chord, but it's not. It wants to go up to the A. You'll also know on the chord chart it says an X for this big E. So you don't play that. So you're only playing 5 strings. So when I play it, right? The press hard. Notice how hard I'm pressing. Press those fingers down. And now it sounds like that. Bum, 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 bum. By George, we got it. And we just have to do the same process with the G chord and the D7 chord. So take some time and do the C chord, and then we're going to come back and do the G chord. So remember, once you find your fingers, find your strings, find your fret, you can play your chord. Now take some time, play it, and we'll be back. Okay, so we're back. We just played a beautiful C chord. Music to my ears. And it takes time. So if you're bad at it, you're bad at it. You just need to work at it. Not everyone's perfect. Next thing, G. This is what it's supposed to sound like. On the piano, it sounds like this. Or down here. Okay, so we have that, and we know what it sounds like. So how are we going to get our fingers to go that way? Well, simply, we're going to take my first finger. It says to go on the A string, on the 2nd fret. So my first finger is on A, Eddie 8, on 2nd fret. Got it. My 2nd finger is going to be my middle finger, and that's going to go on the 3rd fret. Fret 1, 2, 3. On the letter E, the first E, before he hit the dynamite. Top, closest to you. Okay? Still can't play it yet because listen. Now does it sound like this? So, we have to make sure our 3rd finger gets on the little E, all the way down on the bottom. So it's parallel. You can see this finger and this finger are parallel. Right? 2nd finger down for my 1st finger on A. 2nd finger is on the big E. 3rd finger is on the little E. I press hard. You see it at all the angles. And play. Shake it off. Put it back on. Shake it off. Put it back on. Shake it off. Put it back on. You gotta practice. And then you practice going back and forth from C to G. G. Bum, 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 bum. C. Bum, 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 bum. G. Da, ba, ba, ba. It's a 2-chord song, so we could make up anything we wanted to. Just play. Play. Hey, 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 hey. This is kind of stupid, but sorry. Go back and forth, and you can make up a song with 2 chords. And go and do that. Okay, the last one we're going to be doing is the D7 chord. And the D7 chord is fairly simple. And we're going to be putting our 1st finger on the B. Now the B is where, you know where it is because you know the top one is Eddie. Next one is 8, dynamite, good, 5. 2nd to the bottom, all the way down on my 1st fret. Now then my middle finger is going to go on the G. Eddie, 8, dynamite, good. Never mind. Okay, so Eddie, 8, dynamite, good. 2nd fret, got it. Now notice, if I put my 1st finger here, then my 2nd finger here, what happens to this little finger here? Like maybe everyone would want to go here, but it's kind of naturally going to be on this 2nd fret, right? Guess where it goes? It goes on the bottom E string on the 2nd fret, and this is a D7 chord. Okay? And you don't want to strum the top 2 strings, the bottom 4. So then you have this song. Well, not a song, a chord. My bad. And then the G. And then go to the C. And then people just made up songs. Some songs, and learning more songs with different kind of chord patterns was fun. So for the next couple minutes, I just want you to go around and get really comfortable with the G, most importantly, because we're going to play that a lot. Then we're going to play C a lot. We're only going to play D7 a couple times. So if you great at it. We could fudge our way through it, but I really want you to get it back to G. 4 times each. And then back to the G. And switch. Try to switch 2, 3, 4, then switch 2, 3, 4. Switch, got 4 beats. Then try to do it 2 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then try to do it every beat. 1, 2, 3. Oops, sorry. 1. Try different patterns. I just did quarter notes. Maybe you do 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry. 1. Mess around until you feel comfortable with those 3 chords.